An American was killed in Syria by suspected Iranian-backed forces. North Korea tested an underwater nuclear drone. China brokers a peace deal in the Middle East and threatens the United States for violating their security in the South China Sea. So on the afternoon of March 23rd, a coalition base near Hasaka in northeast Syria was targeted with what is believed to be Iranian-made drones. So it's not yet confirmed, but think of the Shahed 136 type loitering munitions being used extensively by Russia and Ukraine. The result of the strike was one U.S. contractor killed, 5 U.S. service members, and 1 other U.S. contractor wounded. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin stated that the attack was done by a group affiliated with the Iranian IRGC, or Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. The U.S. then carried out a retaliatory strike on what they say were facilities associated with the IRGC, where the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said that 11 pro-Iranian fighters were killed. Iranian state TV said the target was a rural development and grain center with no military relevance, and that the result was 0 casualties, either civilian or military. Now, the situation in Syria is as complicated as ever, with various groups exerting control all across the country. So as long as we have boots in the ground there, I'm sure this won't be the last time that U.S. and Iranian forces come to blows in the region. On Friday, March 24th, North Korea announced that they conducted testing of a nuclear-capable underwater attack drone. They say this new drone is able to travel at depths of 150 meters and can stay submerged for up to 59 hours. In this test, they are reported to have executed a non-nuclear detonation off the east coast of the country. At first glance, this kind of comes across like the Poseidon nuclear torpedo that Russia's been developing for a while now. The idea there is a weapon specifically designed to destroy coastal towns, ports, or naval bases. The Russian version is planned to be stealth in nature, but it's not clear if the same is true for this specific North Korean variant. Either way, the argument that it could create a nuclear tsunami makes for pretty serious propaganda. There's some debate right now as to how effective that would actually be, but at the end of the day, any nuclear device going off is going to cause a lot of damage one way or the other. One potential challenge that North Korea has now is working to miniaturize a nuclear warhead to where it can fit on this smaller underwater drone. There's a ton that isn't known about North Korea and their military capabilities, but it's not yet believed that they found a way to make a nuclear warhead small enough to fit this specific type of weapon system. A few weeks ago, Iran and Saudi Arabia announced that they had agreed to a Chinese brokered deal to restore tensions between the two countries. This one gets complicated fast. So the two countries have been at odds as sort of opposing centers of power in the Middle East and formally cut ties in 2016. Now, while this agreement is a first step, it's worth noting that this is simply an announcement of the intent to make a deal, not that it's actually happened. So overall, de-escalation and peace tends to be in everyone's favor, but of course, each country here also has their own unique incentive for wanting this deal to come together. Big picture, there's an argument that Iran is becoming increasingly isolated on the world stage, so this deal both shows their willingness to negotiate with an adversary and opens up potential new diplomatic and possibly even economic corridors with new partners. For Saudi Arabia, there's a belief that they want to focus more internally and spend less time and energy on various conflicts throughout the region. Then for China, it shows their ability to sort of flex the diplomatic muscle in a region of the world that has long been a focus of the United States. I mean, China is active in a lot of ways around the world, but their stepping in here really helps to solidify their diplomatic capabilities in a way we haven't really seen outside of Asia. The announcement's also important as it comes on the heels of a peace outline offered by China to end the war in Ukraine. So think of this Saudi-Iran deal as sort of a credibility piece. Assuming this goes forward, China can show themselves as a nation who's done this before, mended ties in an area where nobody thought it could be done. But it's not all diplomatic news with China. On Friday, March 24th, China threatened serious consequences after a U.S. Navy destroyer sailed through a contested region of the South China Sea. And just one day prior, on March 23rd, a U.S. guided missile destroyer took a similar action in the same area, to which China announced their Air Force and Navy had forced the ship away back to international waters. The U.S. denied this claim, adding that, quote, "The United States will continue to fly, sail, and operate wherever international law allows." This type of maneuver is known as freedom of navigation operations. These are designed to reinforce internationally recognized rights and freedoms by challenging what is considered to be excessive maritime claims. So in this specific case, the Chinese ownership of territories in the South China Sea. The South China Sea disputes are complicated, but at a high level, a massive amount of shipping moves through this area, and there are conflicting claims of national ownership throughout. Based on their buildup of islands and kind of increased military presence in the region, it's pretty safe to say that China is focused on exerting some level of control throughout the South China Sea, and that's really nothing new. However, this is an area worth keeping an eye on, as it has the potential to be something that drastically increases U.S.-China tensions in the months and years to come. But that's all I got for now. We'll see y'all next time.